Good day, everyone. So, welcome to our subject speech and theater arts. So, for today's discussion, and this will be the last topic in our subject, which is the stage setting. So, our objectives for today's discussion is to identify the concepts of stage setting, evaluate the function of a stage scenery, and differentiate the type of theater stages. So, let us now first discuss the stage terminologies. So number one is what we call the acoustics. So this is the ability of a room to direct or absorb sound waves based on its size, shape, and materials used. So orchestra shell towers and ceiling clouds can direct sound waves toward the audience, improving their experience. Next is the apron. So this is the part of the stage that stretches beyond the proscenium arc toward the auditorium. Next is the batten, um, pipe that stretches across the stage when part of an automated or manual counterweight rigging system moves in or down and out or up. Also may be a dead hang at a static height. Next is the black box. So performance space in which the seating and playing space are reconfigurable. Staging Concepts has nearly 3 decades of experience transforming these bare spaces into theaters using a combination of SC90 platforms and flexible understructures. Next is the term break a leg. So this is the replacement for the unlucky, which is the good luck, thought to refer to break in an actor's leg at the knee when one foot is put behind the other to curtsy or bow. Next is flat. This is a vertical wall of a set. Ghost light. This is typically with a bare light bulb and a lamp left center stage. So once the theater goes dark every night for practical reasons to prevent someone from walking into dark theater and tripping. Superstitions about mischievous ghosts led to people leaving a light on to prevent them from wreaking havoc on a production. Line set, this is the automated or manual counterweight rigging system allows for pipe buttons to be brought close to the stage for easy installation of light fixtures above the stage. Orchestra shells are hung from the line sets to allow for easy flying in and out, making concert setup easy. Next is the orchestra pit. This is a sunken area at the front of the stage where the orchestra performs during the show. An orchestra pit filler can be built using the new uplift to create additional acting space. Next is plaster lines. So this is an imaginary line that runs across the stage along the upstage sides of the proscenium arc, often made of plaster. Next is the platform. So this is a horizontal surface on a set or a portable staging unit. The proscenium, the arc or frame around the stage, a portal between backstage and the apron. So let's now proceed to the stage direction. So when we say downstage, this is toward the audience. The upstage, this is away from the audience. The stage left, the actors left facing the audience. House left, the audience's left facing the stage, and the on stage toward the center line of the stage. And lastly is the off stage away from the center line of the stage. So this is what it looks like. Next is the telescopic seating. So this is retractable nesting seating risers from four flexible spaces. Truss stage. This is playing space surrounded by audience seating on three sides. Transverse or alley stage. So this is the playing safe surrounded by the audience seating on two sides. Vomitorium, an alley used as an entrance or exit behind or alongside seating in the auditorium. So let's now discuss the purpose of stage scenery. So the stage scenery has a number of simple functions in theater and one or two more esoteric functions. So the simple functions are establish the limits of the playing space, define or help define the place and time of the story of the play if this is important, provide those physical objects that the performance need in order to execute the action of the play, so such as the chairs, the doors, diving boards, or whatever. Focus the observer's attention in the right place at the right time. So choosing what the scenery will look like and how it will meet these functions is the work of the scenery designer and the stage director. Next is the set design process. So these are the more or less the steps on how to design the stage. Number one is the director and set designer both read the play and take notes about its basic requirements as well as inform themselves about the venue in which the play will be produced. For example, questions: are on-stage places to sit needed? How many at one time? Is this a proscenium theater? 3/4? How many seats? What are the basic sight lines? What does the text require? What does display mean? Why are we doing it? Or does it have a theme? Or is it a simple farce? Next is the director and set designer meet and discuss the show and the questions. So during these conversations, the set designer will usually do a few rough sketches of what some of their ideas might look like on stage. So the director and set designer are expected to come to some form of agreement about which sketches best represent the way they want the scenery to look in the theater. Next is the set designer uses the sketches to make a more elaborate representation of the setting in the theater. So this might include a rough unpainted scale model, a white model, more sketches that are more finished and legible, a scaled plan or ground plan of the scenery in the theater, and various working drawings of scenic pieces in a preliminary form. In addition, the set designer make list of properties, special effects, scene changes, etc. So all this material is called the preliminary design, and it needs to be sufficiently complete that the cost of the scenery can be estimated from it. The set designer gets the director to review the preliminary set design, then submit it to the theater. Next is the theater's production manager or technical director prepares an estimate of the cost in materials and labor. So many sheets of plywood, so many hours of welding or painting. If this estimate exceeds the amount budgeted for the set, the designer and director are asked to make cuts or redesign. The theater may also decide to spend more money. Next is the set design prepares final technical drawings which must show every piece to be built in scale in manner sufficient to guide construction. So the set designer will also prepare information about color, a paint scale model, or renderings of the set at strategic moments during the play as it might look under stage light or both. So the set designer might also do skilled paintings of objects, painter's elevations. So all of this material plus any sketches, drawings, lists, and so forth relative to special effects, scene changes, properties, etc. are called the complete design, which is turned over to the theater for construction. Next is the technical director, shop carpenters, scenic artists, properties artisans, and so on use the complete design as a guide for building the actual scenery in a scene shop. So the technical director or assistant may do construction drawings. The set designer does not normally build or paint the scenery although there are frequent exceptions to this. So the completed scenery is tracked to the theater and installed by stage carpenters under the supervision of the technical director. So the set designer is usually expected to be present at the theater during this load-in period, which may be the first time she or he has been the finished scenery. Next is the set designer is present during the technical rehearsal to take notes as the cast begins to use the set. Does the set function and look as intended? Generally, minor changes and adjustments are possible, and major changes are not. Adjustment and finishing may either be done by shop personnel or by stage carpenters depending on various factors. So the shoe opens and runs. Next is at the end of the production, the set is tracked or disassembled and may be stored. But most likely it is tossed in the dumpster, although parts may be put into the theater stock for use on future production. So those are the process of set designing. So let us now proceed to the types of theater stage set. So theaters have evolved with different internal layouts according to the types of the productions presented. So the most common types of stage arrangements are, number one is we have the proscenium stage. So this stage have an architectural frame known as the proscenium arc, although not always arc in shape. Their shapes are dipped and sometimes rake, meaning the stage is gently sloped, rising from the audience. Sometimes the front of the stage extends past the proscenium into the auditorium. So this is known as an apron or forestage. So theaters containing proscenium stages are known as proscenium arc theaters and often include an orchestra pit for live music and a fly tower for the movement of scenery and lighting. Next is truss stages. So as the name suggests, this project or thrust into the auditorium with the audience sitting on three sides. The thrust stage area itself is not always square but may be semicircular or half a polygon with any number of sides. Such stages are often used to increase intimacy between actors and the audience. Next is the theaters in the round. These have a central performance area enclosed by the audience on all sides. The arrangement is rarely round. More usually, the seating is in a square or polygonal formation. So the actors enter through aisle or vomitories between the seating. Scenery is minimal and carefully positioned to ensure it does not obstruct the audience's view. Next is the arena theaters. So these are large-scale auditoria and have a central stage area with audiences on all sides, similar to theaters in the round. The stage area is usually rectangular, more like a sports arena with tiered seating. Next is the black box or studio theaters. These are flexible performance spaces which, when stripped to their basics, are a single room painted black, the floor of the stage at the same level as the first audience row. Usually these spaces allow for the temporary setup of seating in a number of different configurations to enable a wide variety of productions to be presented. We have also here the platform stages. These usually consist of a raised rectangular platform at one end of a room. They can either have a level or raked sloping floor. The audience sit in rows facing the stage. Platform stages are often used in multi-purpose halls where theater is only one of the spaces uses. Where the stage is open and without curtains, they are sometimes known as end stages or open stages. Next is hippodromes. So these are similar to circuses and have a central circular arena surrounded by concentric tiered seating. Deep pits or low screens often separate the audience from the arena. Next is open air theaters. These are outdoor theaters that do not have a roof, although sometimes part of the stage or audience seating will be covered. So these stages may make use of the natural light as it changes during the day, particularly sunset. And the last one is the site-specific theater. So this is usually performed in non-traditional theater space such as a pub, home, or warehouse, often reflecting the history, atmosphere, or experiences of a particular location. And please familiarize yourselves with the different types of theater. And for your performance activity, answer the following questions. This consists of 30 points. Put your answer in the comment section below by following the format. So don't forget to write your name, your block or your cluster, and then your answer. So the deadline of submission will be on January 23, 2024, 8 p.m. only. So number one question is identify the concepts of stage setting and differentiate the type of theater stages. So again, this will be our last topic for this subject. So thank you for your cooperation to our every performance activities. So thank you very much and God bless everyone.